Hi, you guys. Okay, here we are. We are continuing on with our practice final, and we are working on number 26, and we want to factor this expression. So, what we have here is a perfect square trinomial. Now, remember the way that we figure out that it's a perfect square trinomial is we take the square root of the first term, square root of the last term. If we multiply them together, x times 5 is 5x, and then double them, we get what's in the middle. So that's how we know that it's a perfect square trinomial. So the way that it factors is take the square root of the first term, which is x, that goes in the beginning of the parentheses, square root of the last term, which is 5, and it's a plus because there's a plus right there. So that is how that factors. We really want to get to a place where we understand how perfect square trinomials factor. It does work with the diamond, but you have to be able to recognize those for the future. Okay, next one, 27u to the third minus 8. Okay, so this is, remember a while back, we talked about, there were a couple of formulas that I asked you all to memorize, the sum and difference of cubes. Well, this one is a difference of cubes because there's a minus there. So the way that this factors, a cubed, minus b cubed is a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared, and the a and the b come from the cubic roots of each of the terms that you're given. So the cubic root of 27u cubed is 3u, and the cubic root of 8 is 2. So we're going to take 3u, plug that in for a, 2, plug that in for b everywhere in this expression. All right, so what we end up getting, so 27u cubed minus 8 is the same thing as 3u minus 2 times 3u squared. If we think about 3u in parentheses and square it, we get 9u squared plus 3u times 2 is 6u plus b squared or 2 squared is 4. So that's how that one factors. And that looks like option B. Okay, next we have the other one. So remember I said there were two of these formulas to memorize. The second one is a cubed plus b cubed. So a cubed plus b cubed is a plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared. And in this problem, we've got 64 plus x to the third power. So remember the a and b represent the cubic roots of each of the terms. The cubic root of 64 is 4. The cubic root of x cubed is x. So 4 we're plugging in for a, and x we're plugging in for b up in our formula. So we end up getting 4 plus x times 4 squared is 16 minus a times b is 4 times x or 4x. B squared is x squared, which is x squared. Okay, so that would be B. Okay, moving along. Which of the following, I'm sure you all can still see here, which of the following is equivalent to 27p squared minus 75? So we are in a super factoring place in this portion of the test. Okay, so which is equivalent to this? So all that means is we want to factor this completely. So if I'm looking at this right now, I notice that I'm able to factor out 3 from both 27 and 75. So when I do that, I get 9p squared minus 25. And then what I hope we all can notice is that what we have in the parentheses is a difference of 2 squares. And remember, a difference of 2 squares factors like this. 3p plus 5, 3p minus 5. That would be C. All right. Remember, you're writing down questions as you go so that you can ask them when you have the opportunity to, either during class while you're working or during office hours or something along those lines. Okay, next we want to, now we're moving on to inverses. So f of x equals negative 10 plus x all over 2. Okay, so remember we can use f of x and y interchangeably. They mean the same thing, so that's what we're going to start this problem. We're going to replace the f of x with a y, x divided by 2. And remember, inverse means opposite, or you're flipping the x and the y, keeping everything else the same and flipping the x and the y. So what this ends up for the inverse, let's make sure we specify that so we don't get too lost here. The inverse is x equals negative 10 plus y over 2, and then you just want to get y by itself. Okay, so the way that we would do that, first we would want to multiply by 2 on both sides. So 2x equals, make sure you all can see still, negative 10 plus y. Then the last step is we want to add 10 to both sides. So we get y equals 2x plus 10, which is our beloved c again. Okay, 31. We are moving quickly. Quick is good, especially toward the end of the year where we're all ready to be totally done. Okay, 4v cubed minus 19v squared minus 36v plus 33 all over v minus 6. We want to see what does that equal. Okay, so we have a couple of options here. If I'm looking at this problem, I'm noticing that the top has 4 terms, which means I could try factor by grouping, but we're very fortunate that we have a multiple choice test because we can look and see that all of the answers have remainders, which means we're not going to be able to just factor and cancel stuff out, okay? So this actually is a long division problem. So let's set up long division here. So we have 4v cubed minus 19v squared minus 36v plus 33, all divided by v minus 6. Now I'm going to go through this really quickly because, again, we did this in class very, very step by step. If you have questions, please come see me, okay? So we always want to compare the first terms. V times something gives us 4v cubed. V times 4v squared gives us 4v cubed. And then, so that's how we get this first term is, remember we're distributing. Then 4v squared times negative 6 is negative 24v squared. And we go back and change the signs because we're subtracting those terms. Those cancel out. Negative 19v squared plus 24v squared is 5v squared. Bring down the 36v. And again, we're looking at what do we have to multiply v by to get 5v squared. So we have to multiply by 5v. Okay, so v times 5v is 5v squared. Negative 6 times 5v is negative 30v. Change the signs. So those cancel out. Again, you can still see, that's good. Negative 36v plus 30v is negative 6v. Bring down the 33. And again, what do we have to multiply v by to get negative 6v? We have to multiply by negative 6. So v times negative 6 is negative 6v. Negative 6 times negative 6 is positive 36. Change the signs. Even though we're changing 1 to a plus, that does not mean we did anything wrong. And then 33 minus 36 is negative 3. Okay, and that is the end. So we have this as an answer, but because we have this remainder, we actually want to put the remainder at the end over the dividend, which is v minus 6. So all like that. So that is right here, and the v minus 6 goes on the bottom. So that's, let's see, 4v squared plus 5v minus 6 minus, that looks like 8 to me. Okay, let's keep going. Keep it moving. Alright, let's see. Yeah, we're good on time here. 32. Number 32, we have 48 over 30n minus 42, and all this says is simplify. So simplify to me means reduce as much as possible if there's anything to be reduced, and yeah, go from there. So on the bottom, I'm looking at that and thinking that I know they're both evenly divisible by 2, 3, and 6. So let's divide by 6. I think that's the biggest one. And when we do that, we get 5n minus 7. And then we can reduce these as well. 48 divided by 6 is 8, or 8 over 1. So we end up with 8 over 5n minus 7, which is D. Okay. That one was easy. B squared, I'm going to leave some room for this one. B squared minus B minus 56 over 9B plus 63. So again, the directions just say simplify. So the top one is is a diamond. We have negative 56 in the top, negative 1 in the bottom. Two numbers that fit in here are 7 and negative 8. And then we distribute that b to the numerators of each of these. So this comes out to be b plus 7, b minus 8. The bottom we can factor out a 9, and we get b plus 7 left in the parentheses. So let's write down everything that we have left here. So we've got, let's see, b plus 7 times b minus 8 over 9 times b plus 7. And now the things that match that we can get rid of are the b plus 7, so we're left with b minus 8 over 9, which is b. All right, let's keep it on going here. 34. Let's see, 3v cubed. Okay, I'm going to leave some room for this one again because it looks like we have another potential diamond problem here. Over v squared minus 2v plus 1. Okay, so on the top, the very first thing that I want to do is factor out of 3. 3v. They all have a 3v in common. When I do that, I'm left with v squared minus 4v plus 3. Yep, that works. And then v squared minus 2v plus 1 on the bottom. Okay, we have two diamonds here. Well, no, one diamond. The one on the bottom, this is a perfect square trinomial again. Remember we talked in one of the previous problems about how to identify them? Number 26, look back at the explanation for that if you're still confused about how this is a perfect square trinomial. It factors to v minus 1 squared. Okay, so there's that. Now, on the top, if we do a diamond with this piece, which is positive 3, negative 4, the two numbers that fit in here are negative 3 and negative 1, and then the v goes on top of each of them, and then v minus 1 squared. So we get 3v times v minus 3 times v minus 1 over v minus 1 squared. So the thing that cancels here is one of the v minus 1's, and that just goes away, or it goes to a 1, invisible 1. So what we're left with for an answer is 3v times v minus 3 over v minus 1. And that would be b. Okay, I think I can fit in one more into this video, and then we're going to switch videos for the last several problems. Make sure you all can see that. Okay, x minus 2 over x plus 10 times x squared plus 13x plus 42 over x squared plus 4x minus 12. Okay. All right. So here's what I'm looking at. I am looking for anything that can be factored. And then I want to, when I can factor, after I factor, I want to look for anything that can cancel. The first fraction, oops, it's a minus 2. That is factored completely, all the way. But these over here, both can be factored using the diamonds. We get 42, 13. And on the bottom one, we have negative 12 and positive 4. So we get 6, 7, x, x. Okay, so those are our factors, x plus 6, x plus 7, there. And then on the bottom, two numbers that fit, 6 and negative 2. And then we go x, x. So we've got x plus 6 and x minus 2. So let's write everything that we have. I know I'm going through this very fast. Pause. If you need to stop, just pause at any given point in time, and then please, again, write questions in the margin and come in and see me with those questions if you would like an additional explanation. So remember, we went through this pretty step by step to start out with. Should be a review for everybody. All right, so here's what we end up with. X plus 6 and x minus 2. So we're looking for things that match in the numerator and denominator. There's the x plus 6, the x minus 2, and I'm left with x plus 7 over x plus 10, which is b again. All right, so that's pretty good. We got through 10 problems in about 15 minutes. Not bad. Okay, we're going to switch over to another video and continue on with number 36.